Hey babes, my name's Hannah.
And I'm Chasity.
Welcome back to Bookish Babes. Today we're filming underrated books that more people should read, or that we think more people should read. We filmed something similar to this quite a while ago, but I don't think I mentioned any of these books in that video. Let's hope not. There might be some repeats. That just means that they're really good books.
I don't think we'll do repeats.
No, but they're just ones that people don't talk about as often, and I have a couple that are by pretty popular authors, but their other books get talked about more, and I think that these ones deserve some hype.
I agree.
Yeah. And they're all probably books that we've talked about on the channel before, but now they're in, one compiled list.
Yeah. So when you're looking for something to read and you don't know
You've
what,
read through all the popular stuff, come to this.
come to this.
Yeah.
Here's your list.
Yep.
Do you want me to start?
Yes, you should start.
Okay. First one I'm going to talk about is In Between Heartbreaks by Amanda Cuff. I absolutely loved this book. I read it quite a while ago, but so I don't remember all the details, but I do remember being obsessed with it for like the longest time. So I definitely recommend this one.
My first one is Blind Side by Candy Steiner. I just feel like I should say like Candy Steiner in general should just be on this list. I don't hear a ton of people talk about her. She is an indie author, but pretty much everything that I've ever read by her I've really liked. This one in particular is one that, it's one of her newer ones that came out like last year or the year before, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. It's a great like fake dating romance, and it's a really quick, cute, easy read, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked both of the characters. The main character is like a really quirky girl, but like not in a awkward and like cringy way, like genuinely like a quirky person, and I really loved her.
I do love Candy Steiner. I haven't read that one yet, but
You read A Love Letter to Whiskey, didn't you?
I did. So good.
Love Love Letter to Whiskey.
So good. So good. The next one that I want to talk about is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This one doesn't get talked about as much as I think it should get talked about. I think a lot of people think it's something that it's not based on the cover. I don't think the cover really does it justice. I recently seen the UK cover. And the UK cover is so beautiful, and I think that one does it a lot more justice, but I really think this is one that a lot more people should read. It's kind of set in the 1950s, early 1960s. It's about a woman who's a chemist, and she's a scientist, and she doesn't get really recognized for all the work that she's doing, and she has a hard time keeping her jobs in labs because they don't really recognize women in jobs like that at the time. And it follows her on her journey, and she goes through various men who abuse their power, let's just put it that way. And then she ends up getting the offer of a lifetime for any woman at that time, and getting a cooking show job. And she turns that into her opportunity to use science and cooking, and she teaches the people that watch her show and the audience about science and cooking at the same time. And she breaks down the cooking ingredients into what they're made with scientifically. And it was really, really interesting, and I just think it's like a wonderful story overall. So I really, really recommend this one.
My next one is The High Mountain Court by A.K. Mulford. I've definitely talked about this before. I'm pretty sure I came across this book when I was watching like a TikTok on if you loved ACOTAR, you should read this book. But other than that, I haven't really heard much about it, and I really liked it. I think it's lighter on the fantasy than ACOTAR is, and then a lot of other fantasy books I read, but there's definitely is some pretty decent world building, and I really like the characters, and it's sort of like a quest kind of story. Like they all kind of have the same goal in mind, and they're working together to get to it, and I love stories like that. And I had a ton of fun reading it. Like I said, I haven't heard a ton of people talk about it, so.
I haven't either. Like we've been talking about it at the store, but like I haven't heard a ton of people talking about it either, but I want to read it.
She's going to read it soon. She's going to borrow my copy. It was really good. I really liked it.
The next one that I want to talk about is The Gospel of Loki by Joanne M. Harris. I really liked this one. I thought it was a really good like retelling. It was fun and it was imaginative, and it also like was very accurate to a lot of the Norse mythology.
Okay.
And it made it really easy to follow. So like you don't have to be like really into it to be able to follow it. And me, of course, I love Loki and I love anything Norse mythology. So of course I picked it up instantly. But I just think even if you're not super into it, it's a really fun story and it's really easy to follow. So I would highly recommend it. It's a good adventure story.
Love that. Next one I want to talk about is kind of an author. It's Chevy Stevens, but specifically Still Missing. We both read this one and we both really liked it. I don't even know how I came across this author, but it was definitely not from other people talking about it. Like it was, I just kind of stumbled across it. I don't ever see her books in the store. But
Never.
No, I had to like order them all online. It's clearly not as popular as it should be, but everything that I've read, I have thoroughly enjoyed. I'm pretty sure it's a female author. They are a great author, whatever gender they are. I've read Still Missing and Never Let You Go, and I've really enjoyed both of them.
I really need to read Never Let You Go.
You do.
I do. I love Still Missing. The next one that I want to talk about is The Sentence by Louise Erdrich. I absolutely loved this one and I want to read like more from her. The Sentence was just like, I feel like a love letter to booksellers everywhere. It kind of starts with somebody who works in a bookstore and she's going about her like day-to-day life of just like, you know, coming home and doing stuff with her husband and like going to work and stuff and going about all the different customers that she has in the store. And there's this one customer that's like just the worst. I don't remember, she has like a nickname for her, and then she finds out that that customer has passed away, and then some stuff starts to happen in the store, and it turns out that that customer's like spirit is trapped in the store.
Oh my god.
So it like starts with that, and then it actually happens, like takes place where like COVID starts while like that book takes place. So then like the shutdown happens, and it really it was fascinating to read because I am a bookseller and I also worked like during the shutdown. So it was really fascinating to read something like during that time. And then there's a lot of other like gritty stuff that gets into. I just think it was a fantastic read and more people should know about it and more people should read it.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting actually.
Yeah.
Next one I have is another author. We've talked about her before, but it's been a while, and it's Willow Astor. There's a couple that I've read by her that I've really liked. True Love Story, and it's now called Miles Apart. When I read it, it was called something else. But both of those were super good. Have you read either of those?
I haven't. They're on my list.
Yeah, your never-ending list. They were both, I have really fond memories of reading these two, and I, once again, never hear anybody talk about her. She's another indie author.
She's fantastic.
But she's really great. And she's a really great person too. Like I follow her on Instagram and she's adorable, and I love her family.
Adorable.
Her family looks so much fun. And yeah, I just feel like people should definitely, and these two I think are two that would go over really well with most people.
I love Willow so much.
I know.
I just wish I could hug her. She's so cute. The next one I want to talk about is The Magnolia Palace by Fiona Davis. And this one was actually a little bit different for me. It's a historical fiction, but I really enjoyed it. It like took place, oh gosh, I have no idea, honestly. I'm terrible at timelines. Maybe in like the 20s, 30s. And it bounced back and forth, like from today's timeline to back then. And back then there was like the actual original family living in the Magnolia Palace, and they were very rich, and there was this magnolia diamond that had gone missing in the family. And now in today's world they were trying to, there was this woman who was a model, and this gentleman who worked there in the museum, because now it's a museum, were stuck there in a snowstorm. And she found some paperwork in the basement, and she was trying to find like she was following this trail that she had found, trying to find it, and she did find it. So it's just very interesting, like unraveling the mysteries of the family behind it, and also like going back in time and reading how that happened at the same time. It's just very fascinating. And it's also very fascinating because this is an actual place. The Magnolia Diamond is completely made up, but the actual place is very fascinating, and it was filled with artwork. And it's in New York, and you can still like go and visit it. And most of the artwork has been moved to a different location, so you can go and visit all the artwork. And I actually went and like researched it, and you can do like a visual tour, and I did that to go look at all the artwork, and oh my god, it's stunning.
It is.
It's so stunning. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It was a good read.
So next one I'm going to talk about by a very popular author, or authors, to people who work together. It's Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren. I hear a ton of people talk about Christina Lauren, but not about this book in particular.
True.
And I really loved this book. I am a sucker for a second chance romance, and that's what this is. She has another one that's really great, that's second chance romance. It's called Love in Other Words, but I hear a ton of people talk about that one. This one, I don't think I've ever seen on TikTok or anything.
Don't think so?
No. But I really liked it. It's one of my favorite by them. So, highly recommend Twice in a Blue Moon.
Absolutely.
It's got a really cool premise. It's about the daughter of a famous actor and somebody she meets on vacation, like as a child, and she tells him something, and he promises never to repeat it, and then he ends up selling the story to like a popular like news station. What? Yeah, and then they reconnect years later for work. So it's like a forced proximity thing too. They reconnect for work, and you kind of learn why he did what he did, and you know, go through that whole journey with them. I really loved it.
I gotta read it now. Damn it, stop adding books to my list.
I know.
The last one that I want to talk about is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I've heard, like, not on like Book Talk or anything, but I have heard a lot of good things about this book before I picked it up. I absolutely loved this book. This book was so good. It's very emotional, I'm not gonna lie, but everything's emotional with me now. I cry at commercials. But it was a really, really good
I am
read.
softening as I get older.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's stupid. I hate it. But it was really, really good. It's an interesting read to see like how your effect on the world and your effect on strangers can really just be so much more amplified than you realize. Because like you would think the five people you meet in heaven are going to be like relatives or friends, and no, it's gonna be somebody you had like a 20-second interaction with.
Interesting.
Yeah, but you ended up doing something, or you being around ended up changing something drastically in their life.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and it was I highly recommend it.
Last one I'm going to mention is Renee Carlino. I've definitely talked about her on the channel, but I've got a couple by her that I really love. It's Before We Were Strangers and Swear on This Life.
I swear on that book.
For real. For real. Everybody who I've recommended this book to, and they've read it, they've really loved it. So that's saying anything. But both of these are really, really great, and I don't know that I've ever seen her books in stores. That doesn't mean that they're not like sold in stores. Have you ever seen them? I don't think I have either, now that I'm thinking about it. Like at Books A Million, at Barnes & Noble, nowhere in stores. I've ordered all her books online. And everybody I talk to about Renee Carlino is like, oh my god, I've never heard of her. So
She's fantastic.
Let this be the time that you hear about her.
Go look her up right now.
Yeah.
Her and Willow Astor.
Yes.
Yes. Was that your last one? Okay. So, those are the recommendations we have for you today. Comment down below. Let us know what you think. Hit that like button and subscribe. And turn on that notification bell so you know when we post next.
Bye.
Bye.